Hi, everyone, and welcome to the screencast for January 27th. And newsflash, it is cold, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Schedule for the week. We have our grading window opening on Monday. Amy will be opening that when she gets to school. We have a staff meeting on Wednesday. Kindergarten registration night on the 31st. Thank you for those of you that are able to help out with that. And then Friday, February 1st, we have Professional Development Day. We'll talk a little bit about that too. So there is our schedule for the week. Hey, a little bit more on report card and grading, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. Monday, as I said, Amy will open up the grading window. Friday, February 1st, that is a non-school day for students. In the morning, we will have something on trauma, and in the afternoon, we will have time for you to enter grades into Infinite Campus, so that is taken care of. Monday, February 4th, we are closing the system there, so all grades need to be in by 8 o'clock on Monday. Our plan then is Tuesday to start printing off report cards, and then they are to go home on Thursday. So that's our plan. A couple other things. This is Amy's first time taking care of the report cards, and so we have a little bit more of a cushion from when the grades are due to when they get to you and get sent home on Thursday, but we want to make sure that if there's any snafus, we can take care of that. Just a little bit more information I put on here about Friday. I told you we have trauma training in the morning. I have not yet heard where we are meeting for that, but seeing as I believe there's a level 1 and level 2 training, it's got to be in some place big, so I'm assuming it's some auditorium at one of our bigger buildings in the district. When I know more information about that, I for sure will let you know that. I have no plans for the afternoon on Friday other than to give you time to complete your grades. Hey, we know it is going to be a cold week. From what I've seen, it's going to be cold until about Saturday. So just know that the district is really looking at that, trying to think about what makes the most sense for students and for staff, and trying to be mindful of that. I have no knowledge of imminent closings or not closings, but I do know that they're thinking about it and trying to make the best decisions. My advice to you is to stay tuned to the news and to leave your phones on. If there is a change and we're closing in some way or form, they will send out a voicemail to everyone. So make sure you leave your phones on, right, Mr. Peterson? Make sure that you do that. Hey, we have our kindergarten registration this week on Thursday. So once again, I am assuming that that is on, but if we need to change that, we'll need to change it if it's due to the weather. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. One thing I could use your help with, if you happen to have any older siblings of incoming kinders, just remind them about our kindergarten registration, because we want to make sure that we get as many people there as we can. And those of you that are able to help, we really appreciate it. And I think there are still opportunities if anybody else would like to help out on Thursday. Moving on, PBIS, we had a staff meeting on PBIS last Wednesday, and one of the things that we want to start working on is reteaching expectations. And this week's focus is going to be on hallway behavior. So we have a few slides here that I included in here that just want you to be aware of. For the hallway, we have on here information on our be respectful, be safe, be kind, be responsible. We talked on Wednesday about how to go about reteaching that. You can see on here there's a link to the reteaching expectations. Have a little video here. There's some other examples on here. We're going to be trying to pick a different area for each week. And like I said, this week is hallway. And one other thing, and there's the Kahoot thing in here. So there's some neat things. So thank you, PBIS team, for your work with that. Don't forget about what we talked about as far as your Wildcat Classroom sheet. I think if Kristen hasn't got those out to you, she will soon. I think that would be great to have that up. I'd also like to get a picture of all of our staff to include in there if we can. Don't know how we can pull that off, but we'll see if we can get something like that too. We also talked a little bit about a voice level matrix, and I believe Mr. Claypack will be emailing that out to you, so just know that that's in the works too. So if you can spend some time going over the classroom expectations, I think that's great. Non-classroom teachers, I think it's important that you're aware of our expectations for that too, because we all want to be sharing and helping our kids to follow these as best we can. Hey, finally, just a couple custodian notes that I want you to be aware of. I know Chris sent out an email that we have 2 new Westwood helpers. These are kids that are doing this to help them learn job skills, and I believe they're here every morning at 8. And so if you see them in the hall, feel free to welcome them and say hi to them. And we want, one of the things that they're working on is being able to say hi and then get on to their job as any worker would do. So anything you can say to them to make them feel welcome, but then to encourage them to get going on their work is great. Talked a little bit with Chris this week about salt and the hallways. With winter here, we have a lot of salt that's being tracked in. We need that salt so that nobody falls and gets hurt. But one thing that would be helpful, and I think this is for all of us, but I know that first and second grade, I know a lot of times you keep your boots out in the hallway, which is fine, I get that. But on Fridays, if you can make sure that any kids that have not taken home their winter boots, take those back into your classroom, because then they can do a good scrubbing of the hallway. That helps keep our hallways in good shape. So just be aware of that. Make sure those boots go in on Friday afternoons. Night shift. There's times when Devin is being called over to his other building to cover that when they are short. It wouldn't surprise me if we have more of that happen. I know that Gabe and Devin and Chris work really hard to keep our school clean, but if that happens, they are having to prioritize what to clean first. Just know that they're doing their best to keep our building clean, and I'm very proud of how clean our building is, so we understand that, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that does happen on some nights. So that is all I have for this week. I hope you all are having a great weekend. I hope you're staying warm, and I look forward to seeing you all on Monday. Take care, everyone.